So my name is hello.
Hi.
my name
Hello.
my name is Brianna Knight. I'm from New York. I'm a singer, songwriter, R&B songstress, guitarist, a little production here and there, and overall just a young black woman out here being an artist. That's really it.
So how long you been doing your music for? Like, I mean, you probably been doing it forever, but like trying to take it more serious.
I'd have to say the last 2 or 3 years. I got what really sparked it was a friend of mine recommended me to perform at the Apollo for like a private event,
That's
and I
big.
was I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should consider it, but it wasn't. It wasn't until maybe the second time that they invited me back, and doing a couple of like internships where I got to talk to people in the music industry that made me really like consider doing it for real. So yeah.
Oh, so tell us about that experience, the Apollo. That's like a legendary place. Not too much people
Yeah.
get the honor to perform somewhere like that.
Yeah, so they had a teen summit at the time. I was still in college, and it was funny because before I was writing with beats, it was just always just me and my guitar.
Hmm.
And I was usually just singing around like college campuses and stuff with my guitar. And then a couple of people who were interning there, they're like, "Yo, we need a black girl who could play guitar. Y'all know anybody?" And it so happened that everybody that knows me was in the room, and they were like, "Yeah, you should definitely talk to her." When I went there, I obviously brought like two people with me. I truly believe in whatever awesome experiences I get to have, other people should experience it with me. I don't ever believe in just, I guess, keeping the spotlight for myself.
Oh,
Uh, I got to literally like, so they had us like in a separate room and we got to perform with other people. They had like panelists, like spoken word artists, regular artists, people who were managers, had radio
mm.
shows, people who are really in the community trying to make something happen and trying to craft spaces for young folks. And it was awesome. It was awesome. The second time was virtual. It was actually during the beginning of the pandemic. They had told me they wanted me to do it prior, and then once everything hit, they were like, actually, you were trying to do a virtual approach, and that's when they had like even more funding for the program. So they had Nikki Giovanni hop on, they had
Mhm.
Sonia Sanchez, they had a lot of people that I look up to because I'm also a poet who were just there and who were just giving knowledge, and it's awesome. It was awesome.
So, like,
Nice.
if you were to describe your, people say, style of music to the universe, like, how would you describe it? Is it like universal, like, or is it like a certain style?
I'd have to say, that's interesting. It's weird because I'm still trying to figure out how I would describe it. Because when I play guitar, it's a completely different vibe than my regular R&B stuff. Like it's like a mix of like folk, like Yeba, but also if you were to put like Lauren Hill and Jasmine
I
Sullivan
hear that.
together.
I hear
Almost
that.
like contemporary
I
music.
hear that though. That last R&B, real singing. I
Yeah, like, but mixed with that kind of folk that you remember the MTV sessions that Lauren Hill had, kind of
know that. Yeah.
giving that basically, but with a mix of, like you said, contemporary with it. Yes.
Yeah.
So like, how do you find yourself like in this like this new, I would say, era of music, so fast and everything? You doing like music with substance? I could tell you like the Lauren Hill. She's a great artist. Like, where do you feel you fit in? If
That's a good question. Well, with my guitar, it's really different. When I'm doing beats, it's more about people who just want to have a stank face when they listen into something. So it's very much like it's consciousness off of, I guess, like healing frequencies, if that makes sense. When you hear
yeah,
somebody that could really sing, they could be singing about sitting on the toilet and you feel like it's
yeah,
healing just because of the vibrations coming
yeah,
from
I
their
was singing it.
voice.
Yeah.
That's where I like fit in. I'm with the singers when it comes to doing that, especially like the people who you could truly feel them, like you could feel their spirit when they're giving it, when they're feeling joy, when they're feeling sadness, when they're feeling like passion, you could feel it. I feel like I fit in there very much. So when it comes to my guitar, I feel like I'm, like I said, Lauren Hill, the MTV sessions, you just pouring out your heart, and it's not even about who's listening or if they resonate. It's just that you have like this something that like a spirit is guiding you to say and to give that story,
So
yeah, of yourself. Yeah.
what's the feedback like? I would ask you from your peers or your family around you about your music.
My family loves it. If anything, they thought So Deep was very different because, like I said, I usually do stuff with my guitar, but like for recording purposes, I decided to do stuff like that. They really enjoy it. It's really a different side of me that they get to see as well. Just
Yeah.
because a lot of my friends they said I sound grown and sexy is their favorite things to say.
Hmm.
And for me, as you can hear me talking, it's not really grown and sexy. It sounds like some 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
very different, very different.
So like, have you ever like performed anywhere else, like outside of New York?
Yeah, I got the chance to perform at the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. They invited me to come perform. That was in DC. Um, I've also gotten the chance to perform in New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If anything, I did sort of perform outside of the US, but I don't know if I'd call it a performance per se. It was more of like a spontaneous thing of the moment. But yeah, mainly just stuff on the East Coast currently. It's just really like it's also a thing of because I've been releasing singles and not full projects, I've kind of been making sure that I develop grassroots and just community of where I'm at and then build from there.
So could you tell us like the last 2 years, everybody been through it, like locked up. How bad was it for you? You're like you, or was it better? Like good for you, like creativity wise.
Um, it was very different for the fact that I'm so used to performing all the time, like constantly,
Mhm.
like every other day I was performing, just tired but doing it. So when
Yeah.
the pandemic hit, it was really weird because I didn't really have that space. Although because of everybody trying to still keep open mic culture alive, especially on like IG, I kind of
Mhm.
got the chance to just really tap in with other creatives just from all over, friends from now Canada, Australia, the UK, all over just because of all of us being cooped up inside and we're like we can't do it anymore. You want to make something? So for me, it kind of made it where I had all the time in the world, like no excuses. Like the universe really
Right.
said it's time for you to sit down and create. You were complaining about how you didn't have the time. Now you do have the time, so go make it work. Yeah.
So that's rare that like hearing nowadays like the passion for live music. Like you explain, you have your guitar, right?
Hmm.
And you're a musician, like you're a trained musician, or self taught, whatever. You play an instrument. So it's talking about like this whole COVID lockdown that you never had to like stop that. It's interesting to just see like the different artists how it stopped them from performing, even if they just like dance, or if they're even a DJ. All these different artists couldn't perform their art, and that's interesting. Like, how's New York like for right now opening up? Is it open up everything?
I guess you could say that some places are still trying to check for cards, but what you call
Oh,
vaccination cards. But yeah,
really?
it's opening up. If anything, what a lot of indie artists are noticing is because the music industry didn't have a chance to really like have people take out venues. Now they're even trying to take out smaller venues. So they're pushing the whole open mic audience, indie
Mm.
artists who are trying to network with one another. The spaces are even smaller now, and also the spaces that we used to go to have been shut down because of the pandemic, or people are just so down bad they can't even like really host those things. They're trying to make sure they make their money, so they can't even really host open mics and stuff like that anymore. So it's really, it feels like a different scene. Like the place, it's funny, when I finally got plugged into a lot of different places that I could go to, everything just got kind of cut off. So now people don't even know what to suggest to like artists anymore. They're like, I mean, you could go to that cafe, you could go to that bar, but I don't even know if they're really open at the moment right
Damn.
now.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to I'm gonna ask you, which a lot of artists I don't ask this. Do you feel that every genre should have a, like, how they have music awards, right?
Hmm.
You could have music awards for everybody, but I feel there should be focus more sometimes on like genre awards for, like, it's like sports, right? You don't mix all sports. Everybody gets an
Hmm.
award. Every sport has their own awards. So if you're doing, okay, they have the hip hop, whatever. You're doing R&B awards, or you get what I mean? Because I think
Yeah.
now all this, it's so big now that people get lost in this whole system that they don't focus on, like, art is art, but just focus on special certain art. Like when
Hmm.
you go to a museum, you're seeing a this certain type of art, that certain type of
Excuse
art.
me for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Well, I would like to know your opinion on that because that's why I believe R&B died, like kind of died out commercially.
Interesting. Okay. So if anything, I like what you're saying because, for example, they nominated Doja for like best R&B album, I think, for the
Yeah,
BBMAs, and I'm
you
like,
see,
that's not true at all. She's
yeah.
not an R&B artist. They're only doing that
It's-
because she's black. That's
oh,
point blank. Period.
keep
They're
dying out. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're doing things like
they
that
done
is
they,
because
they
yeah.
done it to the reggae recently. Reggae.
Oh, that was
That's the
disgusting. That was
example.
the worst.
That's
That
the
was the worst thing
example.
I've ever seen.
That's an
Terrible.
example. See, those are what you just said. The Doja Cat with the reggae. See, that's to show you that we need. Sorry to say, have a reggae awards or R&B award
Yes.
like separate. Like you could all come together later on,
Hmm.
but it should be like everybody gets the respect and it's focused on each genre. It's like a sport. It's let's be
Yeah.
straight up. It's like a
Yeah.
sport, and the playoffs is the main awards.
Yes, no, you said it perfectly. It sucks because even then, like there's contemporary R&B and then there's people that do soul and there's people
Yeah,
that do neo soul. There's
so
so many subgenres that it's
yeah,
even hard because it's like sometimes not to shade anybody, but sometimes contemporary R&B it feels like it's kind of like some of those aren't timeless records.
yeah,
Like they're
yeah,
just records that are hot for the moment, which is not an issue. Like you still deserve your flowers
yeah,
because it's hot for the moment, right? But
yeah,
it would be nice to still involve everybody else who's there, who's making timeless records, who's
yeah.
putting in just as much time, and people are recognizing them. It's just a completely different field. So I 100% get what you mean. No, it should be,
It would
especially
be way
that.
better.
Yeah, no, seeing reggae the way that it was just treated, I'm like, that's crazy because everybody's been everybody's hopped on Caribbean culture. Everybody wants
Yeah,
to do Afro beats. Everybody wants to
yeah.
do dance hall. Everybody wants to do these things, but when it comes to give the flowers, they don't even know who to give the
But you know
flowers
what
to.
it is? What they're gonna say that they sold a lot of records.
Oh yeah, no, that's the
That's what they're gonna
usual
say.
cop out.
They
That's the
sold a
cop
lot of
out.
records, but it's who how they get promoted. Maybe they're just getting more promoted than the other band. What is good from just say I'm going to be straight Jamaica, and they're not going to get like the funding, so their album's going to get commercialized.
Yes, no, it's weird. Especially, I feel weird. A perfect example
I'm,
is
go ahead.
Shen.
We're gonna get deep with
uh,
this. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Shansia or Shansea.
Yeah,
Her rebrand terrible. I don't know what they have my girl doing, but I miss her in her dance hall era. They're trying to make it where she's doing this
yeah,
pop like Coil
yep,
Ray like thing, and it's not
yeah,
working for me. And I see the reason why they're doing that is so that she could cross over into these other audiences. But like
hmm
you said, we just wish that people can organically be themselves and that be the marketing versus trying to push them into a box so that Americans can consume them easier. Like I feel like at this point we're trying to dilute artists so that the audience can figure out if they like them versus crafting the audience to
hmm
like the artist. You understand what I'm
See,
saying?
what
Like,
they're doing? It's not nothing new. I'm gonna bring it back into history, and it's gonna make people really wonder. In the '50s, right, when black artists were doing a lot of music, and the white population, the kids couldn't like they were listening to it. You know what they done? They made a cover song, and it was
Hmm.
their version.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're gonna do that. For example, if Shinsia doesn't go by the program, they'll get someone who does Shinsia, but is not Shinsia.
Ooh, child, it's
you
bad.
you understand what I mean? Like they'll make a girl do like the same style, the same look. They have done it before. I'm not going to mention, and after they'll take over the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
They've done it.
100%. They're
It's
trying
like
to do it, especially with R&B, and it's really gross. And it's not to shade people who are still good. It feels weird when like people bring up more white folks in R&B, or especially jazz, neo soul, who are trying to do it. Like everybody talks about when we think about funk and neo soul,
yeah.
Hmm.
Tom Mish, and I'm like, there are so many other black people that you could bring up
You
that
know
are
who's the
making
top
it
R&B?
currently.
Who's the
Who?
top R&B male artists you think people are looking at like right now? Like people don't look on it. It's what's his name again? His father's an actor. What's his name?
Oh,
It's a white guy. He
I don't
sings.
know.
Oh, I feel stupid. I know
Say
his father.
something
His
that I
father's
can
an actor.
recognize.
Remember with
Say
Frig.
something I could recognize, and I think about him.
I shouldn't even bring him up, but he's married to an actor.
Well, you
He's
gotta.
married to an
I
actor.
don't know who you're talking about,
John
man.
Thick. Thick? It's Robin Thick.
Oh, you're
Robin
talking
Thicke.
about ramen thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
even that's kind
Robin
of
Thick.
annoying because there's so many other black people that like could outdo him anytime, any day.
But
And
he's the
again,
face. So what I'm saying, he's the face. Believe it or
yeah,
not, when people are looking for R&B around the world commercially, I guarantee it's like those are the characters, I would say, what's representing R&B, like what, like the younger, just say the younger generation or whatever they want to call it, is gonna look for R&B. They're not gonna look for R&B like
What, like
like
who?
Boys to Men or Silk or
yeah.
back all the band
You're talking
whatever.
about groups.
Or I'm just saying, like they're gonna be looking for Robin Thicke and Justin Bieber,
Even that's annoying. Even
just
that's annoying because
Justin
just
Timberlake, and the
mm-mm.
list goes on.
What's funny is that those white boys was riding on the backs of black folks because it was if it wasn't for black producers, Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake is nothing without Timberland, and we saw that with that whole In the
Mhm.
Woods album. Let's be
Yeah.
real,
Oh
nobody
God.
was
Preach, my
listening to that.
sister.
Nobody was
Mm,
listening to that.
mm,
We
mm,
know
mm.
Timberland and Justin, beautiful. Justin Bieber without black folks, no sauce, no
It's true. It's
seasoning,
true.
no spice. If Usher
It's
did
true.
not
No
find
cap.
Justin Bieber,
Mm.
Justin
True.
Bieber would
True.
not
True.
be here. Point
Yo,
blank.
wait. She's
Period.
bringing up something big. Oh man. Oh,
Yeah, oh
oh
yeah,
yeah.
she brought up
Like,
something
I
big,
done an
brought up
no,
a
it's
episode
can
on
of
that.
worms
I
right
done an
it's the
now.
episode
truth,
on
but
that.
it's the truth. A lot of these white folks, if it wasn't for them having black producers backing them, all these black influences, they would
I
not
said it.
be here. And it's
I,
crazy. And it's crazy because even then, I don't really like to. It's hard for me to really take them seriously in R&B because I'm like, we still have people that haven't gotten their roses. The fact that Jasmine Sullivan has been here for how many years and she finally got a Grammy?
okay. Okay. Now she's getting deep where I'm gonna go. You see what
But
she said, Jasmine Sullivan. You know who they say is one of the top
go on, go on,
R&B or soul singers
go
in the
on,
world?
go,
She's from England, you know.
go on.
What's her name again? From
Mm.
England. They said she has the top of everything, man.
Estelle?
Estelle, yeah. Estelle.
Are you talking about
Estelle.
Estelle or Adele?
Estelle.
Adele, the
Adele.
white
Adele,
Adele.
lady?
Adele,
Adele.
Adele. I
Adele.
mean,
Oh, I don't mind. One thing
Huh?
about the UK white girls, they can
Oh,
actually sing down. I will say it. I will admit it. They can sing down.
yeah,
They
yeah.
they go crazy.
Yeah.
Now, technically, I don't even really like to consider her soul because she does more pop ballads. She does traditional pop ballads though. The
Okay.
pop ballads that we know more from the 70s. Like the pop ballads from the 70s, we consider those soul music now. But
Yeah.
really, it's a traditional pop ballad. And that's what Adele does
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Like,
Even in
yeah.
hip hop, it has been done with Eminem. Now, this might be controversial, but there's a certain figure. He's famous, right? He said, and I want to ask all black people of our, you know, population out there. Do you believe white artists, everybody's an artist, are guests in the house of, I would say, African or what people want to call it black music?
Well, spicy. Sometimes they have contributed. There's I forgot this white guy who played bass for a lot of our favorite funk bands from the 70s and 80s. He
Yeah,
deserves his flowers. It's the white folks that aren't loud and obnoxious that we can acknowledge. It's the ones that completely try to take up space as if there aren't other black people who are even better or could do just as much as they can.
yeah,
That's the ones that I have issues with. I also have the ones who are really obnoxious and also very, very just nasty. Like you can't be white and be rude to people. You can't be white and be sitting here violating women, violating everybody in between. You have to pick one. So if you're going to be in these spaces that really wasn't for you from the beginning, you need to be quiet. It's the ones that do
yes. That's
too much
right. All
talking
right.
and do too much. That
All right.
no, not invited at all. No.
Because I wouldn't do that to no one else culture. If I don't know,
Yes.
I wouldn't think of it. We're too nice. Why is it that we are nice to everybody but no one's nice to us?
we, but we
Think of
have
it.
to be nice
We're nice to
because
everybody,
we
but
only
no one
control
is nice to
because
us.
we don't fully control the music industry to the degree.
Because you can't do what they do. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, it's just the realness. I'm
So like
just
what we're
saying.
saying with the R&B is a genre where there's so much great artists, and even like it's like you don't hear about them
What?
as much unless you look. You gotta look for the artists,
It's
right?
also a lot of okay, so sometimes I'm on like R&B Twitter, quote unquote, where it has people who are different producers who've been there for a while, different managers and A&Rs, and they like to break it down to the songs just aren't as good. And I'll be honest, I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like the songs are
right.
getting better. I think that contemporary R&B, once we started inserting a lot of auto-tune and a lot of people that
Yeah,
really couldn't sing were now
mhm,
singing, it
yeah,
just kind of diluted the genre in a way where
it's
a lot
true.
of people don't really want to listen. And I'm not saying that there always has to be a song full of trauma, because first off, joy can take space too. You
Yeah,
can have joyous R&B songs like Anita Baker, Sweet Love. Yeah, that takes some space. That's still just as good as something that's super duper sad. And I feel like a lot of people like to say we don't have anything that's really deep anymore.
you know what
No,
it
it's
is?
just that people aren't doing it well. That's
You're
that's the
right.
issue.
It's that you've said it right because what's going on is the opposite. They will make a melody of, I don't know, it could be autotune or whatever, but the melody will be a certain melody what gets people, but it's a negative message. You get what I mean?
Yeah, like
So
it'll just be toxic. And I'm not saying that there's no space for
imagine
that,
if you
you know?
imagine if you were to switch that as a positive thing, it could be done because there's a lot of them I listen to. For example, Future, some of his stuff, right? And it is catchy. The beats is catchy, and when he's singing, you can't understand some of the stuff what he's saying, but it's like I could see where it catches them, right? But imagine if it was something positive, like with a positive type of message.
Yeah, no, I feel like a person who did it well was Mooney Long, when she said "hours and hours." Like that was a lovely love song that was just being like, I really love this man that I'm with, and here are all the reasons
Yeah.
why. A person who did that, I was actually talking about last week on Instagram, was Jill Scott. He Loves Me is a
Ah,
full on
Jill
poem of
Scott.
just how many ways like she loves this man, and it's hard to find songs like that because a lot of the time I feel like a lot of people are working through a lot of hurt, so a lot of the songs are coming from a place of hurt. They're coming
Yeah,
from a
like
place
Juice
of,
World.
yeah, like they're coming from a place of hurt. They're coming from a place of bitterness. They're coming from a place of just like, I don't even need anybody because y'all don't even want me in the first place,
Yeah,
which
because
is why,
there's
yeah.
good artists, but don't you're right. There's been a trend, and he's a good artist. These are good artists still, but like
Yeah.
the Juice Worlds, and there's some more like even who else? Like they'll sing about pain, a lot of pain, and it's been come became popular, but like a different. I don't know how you explain. Like
What do you mean?
you know what I'm?
Yeah,
It
it's just
depends. Depends.
Addiction,
overwhelming. Yeah,
overwhelming.
it's overwhelming. It's different when you have balance in life. The same amount of times that we have our tears is the same amount of times that we have our smiles. The
Yeah,
problem is the music is not really giving that right now. It's
yeah,
giving like there's a lot more tears and smiles. Hence why I don't know if you noticed like the trend. A lot of songs are trying to be extra extra happy now because we're
yeah,
coming from the pandemic and people are just kind
mhm,
of tired of feeling really sad. But the
yeah,
thing is with R&B, because like I said, everybody thinks, oh, R&B that's really good actually has to be sad. People are still in this
yeah,
boat where
yeah,
they need to do those
yeah,
things where you don't. There's still
yeah.
room though. There's room to
But
talk about things that you're
you
going
know,
through. It just needs to be balanced.
you know what it is. Sorry to interrupt you, but you know what it is. It's just been a lot of sadness has been going on
Yeah.
lately. A lot of just drama and stuff. So that's why it's so easy to do that. You know what I mean? In compared to like being happy and stuff. Like
Mm.
if for the last 2 years we've been locked up and stuff, like you've been saying earlier, right? So if
Hmm.
that wasn't happening,
People
right?
be more
I
happy.
think people would be more happier music.
Yeah. Oh, but let me challenge you. Dating has been hard for everybody even
Oh,
before the pandemic. So then those
you
sad
got
songs were like, oh, he's not worth nothing, she not worth nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they were still gonna be coming an extra hard. It's just because everybody was inside, they
Hmm.
didn't have some new stories to work with. So they're working off of that old pain
Oh
and
yeah,
that
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
current pain that they got instead of
Yeah.
actually like progressing. That's why I'm saying it's a lot of stuff of like, yes, the pandemic and also the way that people have just been interacting with each other. There's a
Mhm.
lack of trust. There's a lack of like community, and there's a lack of just wanting to be there for other people. Hence why this whole thing of I'm gonna do me. I don't care if anybody loves me or I don't need anybody, which is not the
Mhm.
truth.
Hmm.
Love makes the world go round. So it's really weird to hear those songs like that when it's like you don't have to stay hurt forever. It's just a moment. And I hope that the music starts reflecting that for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Like the pain is just for the moment.
It's got to heal. The music's got
But
to
you
help
know,
heal.
right now that you're saying
You
Yes.
know
that,
what I mean?
music is very strong and it's powerful. Like as much as people like to talk about music, we hear it every day. Rock.
Yeah.
This is real, and that's what I'm going to say. A lot of people don't understand the power of sound and music. The message is powerful more than what people just talk about it in the media. This is an energy close to our soul.
Well, you know
Maybe
what?
I'm
To
being
be
more
honest with you, no.
too deep, but it is
To get
close
a
to the
little bit in
soul.
more depth, if somebody was like in a coma or something like that, music could possibly help.
But
You know
I'm
what I
saying
mean? Like in
how
vibration.
you gotta
You
put
get
up,
what I'm saying?
how you
If
gotta
it's not sound, vibration
but how you got to
as
put up
well.
music is not. We know what it could do, but I mean, people have to cherish. This is powerful.
Yeah, because sometimes music can
You
bring
get what I mean?
a memory back, or
Yeah,
trigger a
Yeah.
memory or something, or a good memory
yeah.
or a bad moment or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line is it gives you that moment in
But it could
time.
be the opposite too. It could be a powerful weapon
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
control.
it
It's
could be
both.
both.
Both. That's
All
That's what
right,
I'm saying. How
all right,
strong it
check this
is.
out. Check this out. If it wasn't so strong, why would
No, we
politicians
know it's
use it
strong.
in their
Yeah, we know
their
it's strong.
rallies and stuff like
No,
that?
it's true.
You know what
It's
I'm saying?
true.
So why would they use
No,
music?
I know it's strong.
You
That's
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Of
As
course
much as it
it's
could be
strong.
good, it's very. It could be very bad. And right now, I feel it's the balance is not good.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of people working through their own hurt, which I do understand. I was writing with somebody and I told him like if that's where you're at, then that's where you're at and you write about where you're at. But I'm gonna write about where I'm at right now, which is like I'm actively healing and some challenges that some of y'all are still working through, I'm over them. So I'm gonna tell you about how you could reach to that point. The
That's
same
right.
way you could tell me about where you're hurting, I could tell you about why I'm loving or like why I'm here. Because both are valid. It's just right now
Right.
commercially there's not really a balance. And on top of that, I feel like a lot of just even like younger kids, like if I'm happy, even though we do get kind of like, oh my gosh, this is bubblegum music. Sometimes I
Hmm.
am happy that it exists because I'm like, I'd rather these kids listen to a lot of bubblegum music than to
Yeah.
listen to these really, really sad, depressing lyrics all the time. Because for a
Exactly.
moment, like at that point, it does mess with your mood. Even then, as a person who knows some music theory, some chords can just instantly make you sad. Some chords
It's
can make
true.
you feel sexy. Some
It's
chords can
true.
make you feel nostalgic. Some of them can calm you down. It's a thing. And so a lot of the time, you're having a lot of the production, whether it's for trap or for R&B, you're having these chords that are already painting a
So
picture for a listener before you even get to listen to the
as
lyrics.
we talk about this makes sense that, for example, now, just say I'm going back. Let's have fun with this. Back to the Future
Yeah.
type of style now.
Yeah.
So you're a guy. I'm going to use hip hop for example.
Go on.
That is not popular. You're a new artist at the time, but you're not popular. What you're saying, your message is not popular.
Yeah.
But the message is at the time the 50 Cent message. You know what the gangster shit.
Mhm.
So now later on your music might not get people then, but it could get people now, like 10 years later on. You get what I mean?
Music
So
made
make
before its
music
time.
timeless, and
Yeah.
it's timeless because those are the artists now a lot of people go back to listen to.
But there's
and
still certain artists like that. Well, besides him, made advanced
and the
making
artists who
music
was
before
like
its time.
the artists who was pop, then people just listen to that one song. They're not listening to the rest of that. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Well, to
there's
me,
so much of them like that.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's hits and there's tracks. That's the way I look at
And
it.
albums.
Yeah, no,
And
well, yeah, well,
albums.
that leads to albums. But I'm saying there's hits
Yeah.
and there's tracks. As in
Mm.
hits, hit will last for a
Yeah,
lifetime.
commercial track you
You get
hear
what I'm
all the time.
saying? What
Yeah,
I mean
that's
by a
true.
lifetime, it's in movies,
Yeah.
television,
Commercials.
commercials.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lifetime.
Yeah.
Then you got tracks what are, you know,
Radio, kind of radio.
you might
Like
remember in radio or
like
something.
tag team.
But the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
line is there's hits,
yeah.
classics.
Yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean? And that's
it's
to
true.
me, that's real music. And it's not only hip hop. I'm talking about from
R&B
soul,
too.
R&B, rock.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I could keep
You could
going.
go back, for
You know what
example,
I
now
mean?
and mention a couple R&B groups. What, like, for example, Boys to Men. Like I said, from my time, Silk, even
You know
Shy,
what's you
High
know what's funny? You know
Five,
what's funny? You know what's
all
funny?
of them.
I actually went to see Silk, H Town,
H
and
Town.
all of them back in the day when they came to Canada's Wonderland. You know what I mean?
Like,
Straight up, all
Mm.
of them.
you know, the funny thing, a lot of people won't admit this, right? They only listen. They say they listen to one or two genres.
Yeah.
you have to realize, like, we're OGs, right? I grew up listening to R&B before I was listening to hip hop more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's a lot of people.
But
same.
listen, a lot of
Well,
people ain't saying that.
yeah, but the thing is, even well, same here. I was listening to a lot of soft rock,
R&B,
retro, all of that before I actually got
listen to
into
hip.
real hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Straight up, real good
A lot of
soul
people don't
music
say that.
too. Well, really, the reggae music because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
grew up with that. We
But
was pounding to us. You know what
but
I'm
a lot of
saying?
people, they come into like, everybody has their way, their paths, but a lot of people listen to music different ways.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Different
Yeah,
ways.
I'm gonna tell you the different ways that we because our pops used to play out and all of that, right? The reggae music, big man things, right?
I know.
So guess what? Day and night, reggae. Because of that, my ears opened up to other music. Don't get me wrong, I love my reggae music, but yo, day and night, every minute. You know what I'm saying? So yo, when the radio came out, oh yo, what's that? Oh shoot, what's that? Oh my god, some different music at a young age, you know, because the
Yeah.
reggae
But like,
music, you know.
I would say, for example, one of the queen of R&B, one of the queens, people might disagree with me, is Mary J. Blige,
Mary
right?
J.
Oh,
Of course. You
100%.
damn straight.
Well, technically, she's the queen of
Hip
the
hop,
perfect hip hop and R&B. You have
Hip
to
hip
hop
merge
hop
it.
R
and
and
She's
B.
the first and the one and the only to have it where it's always smooth when she
Hip
hops
hop
on a
R and
track.
B.
But what
It's
Yes.
happened?
true.
I feel something happened, which
What do you
I
mean
don't want to
happy?
bring up
What
controversy,
what with
but
her?
I feel as if someone took
Wait, wait,
that
wait.
spotlight afterwards and claimed
What?
it
She's an OG
in a way.
now.
But
She's an
Yeah.
OG
no, I
now.
know
What
she's
what
an
what?
OG. No, I
Come
mean,
on now.
someone for a while took that
Who?
and claimed it.
Okay,
I won't say
who
nothing.
that? Who that? No,
Who?
come on now. Who? Come
What?
on.
Who?
Who? We like to
Okay,
know.
I love Mary. I
I
love
wanna
Mary. I love
know who.
Who?
Mary.
Just say it, man.
I don't Beyonce.
Beyonce.
I wouldn't say she's the perfect merge of R&B and hip hop. I feel that she's the perfect merge
You
of
know what?
pop and R&B.
I
That's
had
why I feel that
I
she's
Right,
the
right,
from
perfect.
yeah,
you for
yeah.
you,
Wait.
but for
No,
me,
I said Mary J. Blige, but
no,
I
no, no,
feel
no, but you say nowadays. Not she's the OG. She's
yeah.
yes, she's good. But for me, for the new one is Alicia Keys. Straight up.
I feel like Alicia Keys. She don't really be hopping on hip hop tracks the way she needs to.
What are you talking about?
When she first came out,
She's yo. There's
yes.
more coming up now.
When she first came
Yeah.
out, yes. But as of recently, no. But when she first came out, she was
What?
that girl. She was the
Have you heard
go-to.
the New York track?
Yeah, but that was come on, man. That's about 10 years ago
Yeah.
now. It's 2022,
Yeah,
man.
Kim done everything
You have
good.
that's why I'm saying you have to look at of right now. I do not know, but I know it's not Alicia. Alicia right now, she's doing her, I don't even know what to call it, like R&B, Cleo Soul, Snow Allegra kind of stuff right now. That's where she's leaning on to. But for people who doing R&B and
What?
hip hop, it's hard for me to figure out who's those girls.
Me
Because
too.
when
Yeah.
it's
It's
hard.
not. It's
It's
not
hard.
really easy. I
No,
can't
right now
say
you
that
can't say that
because there's still
Yeah,
not many.
you can't say that.
Yep. Yep. It's like
Yeah,
one person.
because
I
majority of
mean,
these girls want to just rap.
that's the other thing too. A lot of singers are becoming like
Rappers.
rhythmically like rappers, and rappers want to melodically be like singers. Versus me, I'm like, why don't you just hire me to sing the hook? Just hire me to sing the hook. It's
Yeah,
okay. Because technically, I feel like also, but that shows like of the way that people are trying to study their craft, because a singer is going to try their best to show you that they can sing in
But
some
you know
type
what?
of
You know what?
capacity,
I
you
love
know?
that you brought up that because to be honest with you, a lot of hip hop over the years, I loved it when there was featured tracks, but not only hip hop. May I talk about
R&B.
like an R&B
Singer.
person?
Yes.
I don't care if it's a guy or a girl.
Mary J.
Okay?
she
No,
had
I
that.
know, but I'm just saying in general. I loved it when it was more like that because now they actually got more creative.
Ashanti.
Whoever the two, yeah, Shanti and Jaru, but there's still more
Yeah,
who
yeah.
got together, who actually got together. They actually had to write together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And make the a hit, not a
It's
track,
yeah, no,
a hit.
it's hard, especially just because, like I said, everybody's trying to do different things to the point where like it doesn't, and also not for nothing, because of the content that's going on, it's hard for me to imagine a rapper. Like if you're talking about how men are
Yeah.
just trash, there's no way I can imagine you having like Drake on the track. Like I cannot imagine that because you're talking about how men are trash. There's no way I can imagine you having him
Well,
on the
another
track.
thing is a lot of people are afraid to come out of their lane too. You know
Yes,
what
no, no,
I'm
no.
saying?
Exploring 100. I mean, when
Like
I think
I
about like some artists, like I don't know if you listen to Summer Walker's
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
it was beautifully put. But if
Yeah.
anything, when I think about, she had so many songs that were about the same thing.
Mm.
I'm like, she really could have pushed the lane and did something else. But I understand why people stay within that category because as much as we're like, we'd love for you to do something new. Like, please explore. Like, I'll support you.
like
There's a lot
me.
of people who aren't like that.
Yeah, but
Mm.
because a lot, because see, when I see people are afraid of their own, come out of their own lane, like say for instance, let's just get wild here, man. Like say for instance, someone from uh, country
Oh,
gets
I
together
seen
with
that. I seen that though.
R&B
I
person
seen that.
or whatever, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like all different, like you get
Uh,
what I mean? But no,
this
but you gotta be picky with it, not just anybody, you know what I mean?
I've done
Like
that
you
Hmm.
though.
like
One of the
different
biggest.
genres, but I'm saying they
No, not
all like
no
more on,
Nas X and what's his name again?
but I'm saying more on a
Billy
regular.
Billy's.
No, but no,
Yeah.
like back in the day, like you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
people are not afraid to come out of the lane and get together
Sm-
and make music.
if you're smart, you
You know
do.
what I mean? Just
If,
make music. It doesn't have to be their genre. Just create
but
something
people,
that everyone
it's
could like
it's
really bang their heads to
it's all
or
politics.
vibe
It
to.
has to be people have to be really have to be organic and want to do that. You can't force people.
Yeah, that's another thing
No, well,
too.
it can never be
It
forced.
has
Of
to be
course
it has
not.
to be
You know
organic.
what it is? You know what it is? A lot of people are not a fan of out of their music. They're always just, like I said, afraid to stay out of their own lane. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. If you're an R&B person, right? And you know everything about R&B. Yeah, but you might want to listen to some of that rock or whatever or something, but you know what I mean? And you might,
That's
but
why I don't.
remember that's not your
That's
lane.
why for
But
me.
at the same time you get that interest and just maybe you might find
That's why
somebody
for
in that
me.
genre to work with.
That's why for me. You could do a lot of one genre, but as an artist in this time, the evolution. I don't believe in genres.
It's true. There's a blending of everything,
Not for
but
me. I
if
do everything.
anything, I would say remember that for smaller artists coming up, it helps if you figure out something to stick with so people at least
Yes.
remember your name. And it's
Yeah.
from then on, it's the
Yeah.
other people that have been staying in the genre. Like if you've been established for the last 4 years or
Yeah.
5 years, I see no need for you to stay within that genre because you are
Yeah.
now cemented. If you can have a
Yeah.
hit after hit for the last 5 years, people are still talking about you. You
Yeah.
can definitely jump out of the lane. But for everybody that's first building up, I
Yeah.
definitely
Ah,
agree. Pick one place to start
Yeah.
so you can figure out the sweet spot of your audience and then you
Yeah.
build from there. But for
Yeah.
everybody that's like cemented in the industry, no, I believe everybody should be way more like exploring and
Yeah.
having
Because
more fun.
there's so
Yeah.
much countries. You don't know. You could have fans in China, fans in Africa, fans, and maybe that one song out of your 10 songs, hits maybe Africa more, or
Yeah.
it hits wherever I said more. So that's why it's not good to just be in one box. The different styles and sounds could get different ears all around the world.
Responses. And it's also that you have to remember that some people, that's not their specialty. Like when they dip into different things, it just doesn't sound good. So I feel like it's also the fear of people not wanting to.
Development.
That's what's lacking. It's like for example, like I have a couple of tracks that are very like leaning on rockish, very blues, but that's because those are things I could do. The same thing if you ask me to do some Afro beats, you ask me to do some dance hall, I could do it. And if you ask me to do a country song, I could do it. But that's because I've taken the time to learn those things. That's because
Yeah.
I've had the chance to practice with those things. There's not a lot of people who can say that because they haven't allowed themselves to do that, as well as nobody's shown them that you can. It's hard for you to practice something when you don't even know where to start. Because we
you,
can say,
You know,
oh, we need more people to do this and that. But if they
you,
don't know where to start, they don't know where to get help, how are you going to do it?
you know what would be interesting to get certain artists or whoever, right, out of their lane and doing cover songs what are not in their lane.
so no, no. Art. See, she's not talking about that.
No, I know, but
What
the
she's
thing is,
saying,
no, but the thing is learning.
yeah,
Do
learn.
you
But
get what
what
I'm
she's
trying to
saying,
say?
the
Yeah,
learning
no.
is this: is business, artist development. Start with yourself. You have to
Yes.
develop yourself a way that
Yes.
none of that matters. Like me, myself, I have developed that I know I could do any type of music. right? Some people want to rush. They want to come out. Oh, I want to come out. I want to come out. Yes, that's all good, but it's how you come out. Sometimes you might wait. It's like wine. You wait a while.
Yeah, but some
You
people
plant
just
your seeds,
yeah, but some
and when
people
you come
just
out,
felt
you'll come out right.
yeah, but some people just fall onto music.
Well,
They were a
that's them.
fan. Listen
Everybody
here.
is
No,
different.
you know this too.
Yeah,
You know this too. There's a lot of people who just fell into music, right? They didn't have the passion for it until maybe 3 or 4 years ago,
yeah.
but they weren't like really into it like
But they're not
10 or
ready.
whatever. Do you get what I'm saying?
But my
Yeah,
Like
no,
point.
like
there's a
like
lot of people
like
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 that.
what
I
I
get
mean
you.
by like you grew up with it.
But you need
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
you need artist development. Then that's my
The
whole point.
art. I like to
You
hear
need
that.
artist
No,
development.
I like to hear that.
That's the
Then
whole key to all of
yes,
this.
It's
artist
also
development.
it's like you have to take it upon yourself to do it because it's weird. I
Yes.
remember I was talking because like I'm helping out with an indie label and there's one person who's really like, oh my god, I'm so excited to join the team. Just let me know. And I was like, but even if we don't take you on, what are you doing to make sure that you're working on yourself? Because if you think, for example, I saw this amazing video. They said labels are signing more artists than ever. The problem is
Go
there's
on.
no money left to pour into you to help you develop. So you're taking people where they're at when
Yeah.
it's like, wouldn't you rather them sign a
Develop.
smaller amount of artists so that they could develop?
No,
But
no.
that's why it's upon the artist to take your time every day to learn not only the business
You know,
aspects, but to learn more
you know,
music, how you can perform, how you could be better.
you know
Yeah.
why they do that? They like to shelf you for a while. You know what I mean? They'll shelf
Yeah.
you. Yeah, but just like that story with what was it? Lady Gaga with Akon. That you know how he discovered her in the the Universal building. You know, a lot of artists up in there in the whatever, right? You go, yo, who's that? Right? They go, no, no, you don't really want her. Different kind of, oh, no, no, no. You know what I mean? They have artists and they shelf them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? You're right,
Yes.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
They'll shelf them
They
But that's
until
it.
they
they're ready for
But it
whatever and
depends.
all of that,
But
until they're developed and
but I
stuff.
say it depends on the individual. Like I'm saying, if you want to be on that label, right, or you
Mhm.
want to do be independent, right, or are you really ready to be this? Everybody's an artist doesn't mean that you're making a masterpiece. You hear? Some people have
Mhm.
crayons. Some people have paintbrushes. You hear that?
The way I look at it is this:
You
if
see
your
what I
foot,
said?
yeah, I know,
Some
but if
people
your
have
foot is in the
crayons. Some
door,
people have
if your foot is
paintbrushes.
in the door and you're in the building, right?
Yeah,
Try to get off the shelf.
but you can't get off the shelf because
No, no, no.
you have to
I'm just no,
learn.
no. I'm just saying. You just said it right there.
Yeah,
You got to do what you got to do. If your foot's in the building,
yeah.
get off the
But how do
shelf.
you get off the shelf properly?
What
I mean,
differentiates you from all
well,
the other artists in that genre? What they get you for?
I
That's
don't
the
know if
thing.
you watched the Kanye West documentary, but he's a perfect
Yeah,
example
I seen
of
it.
it doesn't matter if they sign you. You
Yeah,
need to be hustling as if they
just
did not sign
yeah,
you,
doing
Like
even
I
when they
everything.
said,
had you sign that contract. Because he was
like
still
I said.
hosting things, he was
Mm,
still trying to
mm,
network,
Mm-hmm.
navigate, practice, show his chops to whomever. I actually think him being in the studio with Most Def probably
Mm-hmm.
made his rhymes even
Right.
tighter. So just by doing that, he was putting in the work
well,
so that
you
when
know
he
what?
finally was getting like the money, like the funding to do what he had to do,
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing.
Speaking of Kanye, I would love to just hear more produce.
He does
No,
produce.
I want to hear more produce. More like
What
what I
else you
mean
want to hear?
produce, not only for himself. I'm talking about for others.
He does.
Like before.
He's been producing.
No, I
He
know.
he does, but I understand what you're saying. Like
A
How
less
lot
about
more.
him at the moment and
That's what
just
I mean.
pouring more into other
Just like when he
artists and
was
other
just like
I
when he
yeah.
don't
was
think he wants to pour
silent
more
just like
into
when he
other
was silent
artists.
under the rock before
I don't
and
think
the
he wants to
and
do
it
that.
was coming like that. Like just
He
like what
doesn't
he
want to do
said,
that.
No,
three
but he
psalm
doesn't.
three
He doesn't. And
psalmers, three psalmers,
But
beats and three
his
psalmers and
attitude,
all of that. Yeah.
his
he
attitude,
Man.
doesn't. But
his
he doesn't want
attitude
to
has
do that.
grown. His attitude has grown. He doesn't want to. Sorry to say, he's not trying to help anybody
Who
else
says help? You gotta
shine.
help yourself. Yo, listen here, man. You
He
know,
doesn't care like that. He doesn't think
brother,
like that.
brother, yo,
He
bro,
doesn't.
you get
He
more
doesn't.
with producing than
Do
yo,
you see how
bro.
Kanye thinks?
I know that,
You
but
know
yo,
what?
man,
His thinking is, if okay, he's not. He doesn't
yo,
want to.
I admit one thing.
Yeah,
He is a genius. He is a genius, though. You know what I mean? Because he came up with that pod thing
yeah.
instead of he said screw Apple and all of that,
Yeah.
and said, "Yo, I'm coming up with that first and anything." And how many did he sell?
He sold a lot, but
Woo!
this is the whole key too. It's not just Kanye. You just have to be an intelligent person to know this, and I seen that myself. you have to limit your music from being in all these
That's
platforms.
what he did. That's what I just said.
No, that's what I know too. Don't put your music on every single platform. Make sure put your music
Yo, man,
limited
when
for
that
people to
came out,
listen to.
when that came out, he screwed up the
What did he
game right
do?
there.
What's the thing? What he
He,
done
no,
with
no,
it?
he came up with something with an old idea. Like, okay,
He
you
just
remember?
took. He
All
just
right, remember the iPod?
yeah
Remember the
yeah.
iPod? All right, check this out. He just came up with a new kind of iPod thing
Yeah.
for his music.
And
That's
where's
it.
and the music is not what's the key? The music's not on where?
It's on that iPod
You
thing.
can't
If
buy it?
anything, it's like, okay, from if you're somebody who's working with 5 million different middlemen, I understand you doing that
Yeah.
because it's like you're getting even less than what they're trying to give you on streaming services, which is
Yeah.
crazy because you're now messing with just dust. You're not even working with crumbs, you're working with dust. So it makes sense for you to be like, I'm not going to post my music. But if you are somebody who is first developing, baby,
Mm,
you can pay the rent if you know how to finesse it the way you're
Yeah.
supposed to.
But
There's not a lot of people who are using streaming services appropriately. The same way, like
yeah,
for example, there's always been Bandcamp. I don't want to hear from nobody
yeah.
like, oh, I
That's why
can't figure out how to support
I'm with
artists. Like
that. I'm with that.
there's always been Bandcamp. There's
Bandcamp. Yep.
always
long
there's
time.
always different things that you could do. Even I've had people be like, hey, I'm buying your song from like iTunes or Apple
Yeah.
Music. Are you getting the
Yeah.
money from your in your account? I said, yes, I am. Thank you so much. There are ways that you could do it. It's
Yeah.
just that a lot of folks are just doing this strategy where they're thinking if they release one song without any advertisement on streaming services, all of a sudden it's gonna pop up and you're gonna end up with money. And I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you, no, like
You,
that's not the way that
you
it
said it right.
works.
You said it real good. See, you just dropped the gen. Advertisement. If
Yeah.
you don't advertise your single, like you could. Okay, you're right. You could be on all streaming
You
services,
know what,
but you have to
Sean? Yo, we need to
advertise.
stop saying advertising. You got to start saying
Promo
campaignning.
campaign. I say that too.
You
I
know what I
say
mean?
no
No, no, no.
advertising,
Listen here,
campaigning. It's
man.
all the
Listen here.
same
This I
marketing.
think it's a difference between
What?
campaigning and advertising because
A
Hmm.
campaign is a whole
advertising,
thing.
yeah,
Campaign is a
like a
whole thing.
campaign,
I know
like
what a
you're
campaign
like
is.
yeah. No, I know.
Advertise. You have to advertise
No, you have to
every
advertise,
day.
but
Campaign is a whole
but
thing.
when you're doing your specialty on your that project, it's a campaign.
Yeah.
That's the way I
But
look at it.
listen, for example, what you're talking about with the streaming thing, you got to promote it, and you got to pay to promote it that everybody's seeing the, your project, right? Because
Hmm.
if you don't have it everywhere on like promoted on anything like what do you say Google Ads, right? It's not on Google Ads, it's not on Facebook ads, it's not on anything, but you're just posting it. That's not enough.
If
No,
anything, I believe that, for example, when I'm not posting on Instagram, I'm posting on TikTok. And so, like, you really truly, there's ways that
Other
to hear,
networks.
yeah, to hear from people when you're like, oh, like, I don't know how to promote without money. That I don't ever want to hear that from anybody's mouth again. Like, there are so many
Oh yeah,
ways that
you
you
have to
could
be
do
on
it.
more than one network.
So, there's so many ways that you could literally push your stuff for free 99. There's just no excuse to hear from people like, oh, I don't know how to market. And the fact that marketing feels as if like you're selling something that's not you, but the song is you. If the song is something that you actually enjoy, that's you. So why not literally just advertise yourself? Because 9 times out of 10, we're seeing these artists where people like the artist before they even like the song. So when the
It's true.
song drops, you're like, I'm so in love with this person, I'm going to listen. And
Yeah,
that's how you're having these people who are able to get like 500,000 followers on TikTok. We're like,
yeah,
don't nobody care about TikTok. But then you're seeing that their fan base actually translates to their numbers to the point where they're like, wow, I got 1 million streams in a week. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
yeah.
Just because literally people figured out why I really like this person. I like when they're breaking down their songs like that, or when they're working in the studio,
See,
or
you have to
they're
get more
interacting
in
with
it.
people.
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
you know what you know what you're explaining right now. You need to be interactive with your
can't be
audience.
lazy.
You can't be lazy.
Yeah.
Like like you're doing the music, so show them what you're doing with the music. You get what I'm
But a
saying?
big percentage
Like
don't do that.
well,
That's
no,
the
well,
problem.
it's either that or just document it and make it your own documentary at the same time.
No, you're right. You're exactly
Like
right.
on
But
the real, you know why I'm saying this? Because even back in the day, when you see certain artists, they did do certain documents, because they didn't have social media. You get what I mean? And then
Hmm.
after certain ones are coming to light nowadays. You know what I mean? Like they kept all their footages and now they're coming up with the docs. You know what I mean? Like I'm all hearing about like my man there from Goody Mop now. He wants to do a documentary on I think on himself, CeeLo.
Oh, CeeLo.
Um,
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
wants to do a documentary on based off of him and Goody Mob just now. You get what I mean? But the bottom line is what I'm trying to say is I bet you a lot of his story is gonna be a lot to do with a lot of the old documentaries of what
Yeah.
they've recorded.
Like
You get what I
it comes
mean?
down to the artist, the so-called person themselves, the individual. Not everybody is on certain levels. Like I said, some people have crayons and people
Well,
have
like I said, like I
paintbrushes.
said, if you want to gravitate to the audience, you want them to feel you besides your music and let them grow
Yeah,
with your music and
you got to
evolutionize
do
with
more
your
than
music and go with the
you
journey.
got to do
You
more
got to
than
do more.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you
You got to do
can't.
more.
People do this thing I find when like they're first starting, where they feel the need to be like, "Hey guys, my song is dropping this time. Why don't
Yeah,
you pre-save?" And it's like I look on your page and there's nothing about you. Like all you do is you have ads. At that point, you kind of feel like a Google search engine. Like you just feel like one of those ads on the side that nobody really likes to look at. And it really takes a lot of people like having to think about it because at first you think, "Oh, well, I saw that artist doing that, so I think it's gonna work for me." Sometimes it does if the song, if first off, with if you have in the first 3 seconds the production is bomb enough, people will listen. But 9 times out of 10, it's not
but
that. And that's not an issue. That's not a
yeah,
problem. It just means you have to shift how you're marketing. You can't market like somebody down the block who has 5 million like TikToks
yeah.
every day. You're not gonna do the same thing as somebody else. You have to accept like what works for you. I was talking with a friend of mine about that. I'm like,
Mm.
I'm developing my cute little like community on TikTok. We're almost at 10,000 followers, and it's a mix of me showing my music. It's a mix of me showing how I play, and a mix of me literally
Visual.
showing
You see,
what I do day to
I'll
And
day, giving affirmations. Like you have to show other things because
it doesn't take much, does
right.
it? It's
no,
what
it
you're doing anyway.
show your face. I literally try to tell people just show
You
your
gotta
face.
do it.
People just want to see you smiling, having joy,
True.
what gets you going throughout the day, or what's bothering you, and they will gladly relate. Because I'm telling you, they just want to know you. And it's
It's true.
wild because at first people didn't have that opportunity. Prince and them, they was praying for an opportunity just to do that. They wish that they could come on some of these platforms and be
Mhm.
like, wow, I wish that I could just show my face and everybody would be like, yeah, let me go like play your song. It's to the point where a lot of people are like, oh, the quality is lacking. The quality is lacking. It's not that. It's that the people with quality, they're not pushing hard enough. You got
No,
to
you're
push
right.
harder.
What I learned too is just your presentation too. Like if you have like whatever ad or the picture of your EP or album, make sure that looks like the best. Make sure you even get the best graphic designer or whoever to make that looks stand out. I mean, really put it in. And if I see that you have this, you're good, you're a good artist, and your visuals look good. Like I see a good picture. Like this just looks. I'm gonna be very interested in to listen to it.
Yes, no,
Come
people
on.
love visuals. Even then, I remember I had the opportunity to pitch to like do like a whole interview and everything. And they said, oh, in the document, just put a lot of pictures. They don't even care about the words. I'm like, really? I'm about to
Yeah,
use their whole budget and they talk about just pictures? Yeah, just use lots of pictures, charts.
yeah,
And that's everybody. And everybody tries to be like, no, I
it's
don't
true.
care about that. You do. You like pretty things
It's
to look
true.
at,
It's
like
true. It's true.
everybody else in the world.
She said it.
Even if it's just like a really nice selfie, give people
Yeah,
something. Or even then, I notice if you're smiling in a picture talking about your song, everybody's excited with you. If you're not
true.
even excited about your own song, why do you expect somebody else to be excited with you? That's why
It's
I'm
true.
like, a lot of people are like, oh, I need more money to do this. I need
No,
more. No, you don't. You literally just have to smile and show your face and talk to people, and guaranteed people will come and bump. If they see that you're consistent, they see that you're trying and you're trying to connect.
yeah,
10 out of 10 people will give you the time of day. I'm seeing it in real time, whether it's on Instagram. There are singers who will have boogers all up in their nose, sing like 30 seconds of a cover, no nothing. They're in their bathroom and they have like a
it's
million
true.
followers. And when they drop a song, they
Yeah,
have like 100K that same
it's
night,
true.
just because people vibing with them. Like
It's
that's
You know
really
true.
what?
all it
No,
is.
you're right. A lot of people just want to be too perfect, like this too perfect. And it's true. What was I saying to the other guest the other day? Oh, she just
Oh
popped
no.
up.
Or her
Oh no.
cam,
It's her
it's her
cam.
cam, but we
Don't
still
worry, we
hear.
still hear you.
You
I was
still hear
saying,
me?
oh, I
Okay.
Yeah,
see, I see,
we
I
see
see.
it now.
I was
Okay.
saying to the other, I guess, the other day, I guarantee if someone saw me do something crazy all of a sudden, like I'm running outside without my shirt, all of a sudden that would be viral, eh? They say Sean's going
Yeah.
crazy. What's going on with Sean? He's running around without a shirt. You know how much views that would go just because of that? Because
Mm, even then, there's something about that also I feel it's great that we have the opportunity as artists to do random things to showcase songs, but also there's a con because now
yeah.
you have people out here who are complete clout chasers. They'll do
Oh
anything.
yeah,
They will
yeah.
literally
Oh
like
yeah.
they will eat a roach as long as they get a
Oh
million views, and people will be like, "Well, I have to bump that song."
yeah,
Which I was talking with a friend of mine. I said, "There's a lot of people on socials who have nothing that relates to them making music, and they expect
yeah,
people to go listen to the music." No, you actually have to show people that you are an artist sometimes. It
yeah,
doesn't mean all the time. You just have
yeah.
to have a balance. Because there's a lot of people, like I said, they sit here doing a vlog every day. I'm like, girl, do you actually sing? Like, do you
You're
actually
right.
perform? Do you
You're right.
do
You're
stuff?
right.
Do you write? Because I'm not seeing it when I look on your page. Like I'm looking just to hear you sing even a note, and there's nothing. So I feel like that's also missing to the point where I'll hear artists be like,
She has
"Yeah,
a good point.
I gotta get my socials up," and it's like, okay, but can you with the socials can you show what you do
But
so
you
that
know what?
people know what
You
they're
you
getting
said
into?
yo. She brought something deep up. You know what? As much as I see like even men and the female artists, she's right. Do you ever see anyone go off the top? Because I always test people. I would say go off the top. When I say
They're
off the
afraid
top, either
sometimes.
you're singing or you are rapping or whatever, and I say I could go off the
Yo,
top.
no, but
I
the
could go
thing
off the
is,
top.
the thing is,
Could
check
you
this
go?
out though. But check this out though. Check this out though.
And
The,
no
the
one does.
yeah, but
That's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
don't see too
but
much.
the thing
All these
is,
artists I
but
see out here,
the thing is, it's good
hardly
to
any of
do
them.
sometimes that test because why? Say the opportunity just comes, like whoever,
Yes.
Yeah.
just say that it
Uh-huh.
just come, and they say, "Yo, I want to hear something." Oh, they're gonna go
I had
hesitate.
it. I had
No,
it.
no, no, no. But no,
But
I know
no,
that.
but
No,
Rock,
I
you
know you
see
done that.
me have show
I
interviews,
know.
and I told them, "Hey, could you go off the top?" Same thing what you just
Yeah.
said. They go,
Like, say for
not
instance,
ready.
they went to some concert or whatever, or some conference or
Mhm.
something, and some important person all of a sudden just came into their
They'll say what they
face,
told me. They'll say,
right?
"I can't do it.
You
I
can't do
admit
it,
it. I could. I'm a good." What
so
did they
you're
say?
gonna
Wait,
let
wait.
the
What they said?
opportunity pass
I
you
had a
by.
theme for a while. They were saying I'm a good writer, but I can't freestyle.
So that's what they're gonna tell the
I'm a
person
good
at the
writer. I
time.
can't.
If
Well,
anything, listen. Here's
say
here's
you're
one
still. I say you're a good artist. Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
if anything, yo, you don't have to be off the dome where
No, you
people
don't.
know. You can
Yeah.
memorize that rap that you have from a
Yes.
single from
That's what I'm
2015,
talking.
Yeah.
and
But that's what I'm.
nobody has to know. Nobody has to
But that's what
know.
I'm talking
That's
about.
good. I
No,
respect that too.
but that's what I mean by talking from the don't. It doesn't matter.
If it's
Whatever it could
written
be
or
written,
whatever, that's
whatever.
still
The
respect.
bottom line is, it could be something of your best from a few years
At
ago,
least
and your
do it.
opportunity is right there
At least do
now.
it.
Let's do it. You know what I mean? This is it.
See, I was saying there's no shame to say that you can't go off the top. If you're a writer, you're a writer. You're still an artist. Just don't
Yeah.
act like you can do that.
You're still
There's people who
developing.
act like, oh yeah, I'm the super duper whatever. But you, when people
Yeah.
put you on the
No,
spot,
No.
you ain't
because
the super
no,
It's
duper
because
nothing.
okay.
no, I'm just saying
It's
compared to
okay.
somebody like, say for instance, they're in the game for like over 20 years, right?
A little different.
It's a
You
little
get what I
different.
mean?
No,
Can
but
you
I'm
go
Yeah,
up?
saying
no.
You
now.
know, that's what I'm saying. They're more
Okay, yeah, they're gonna go off
experienced.
the top if
You get what I mean? Compared to, you know what I mean? But there's ones who are hungry. You know what I mean? And the talent is like, all right, yeah, I'm ready. Right, I know, off the top, boom.
yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
rare.
Yeah.
But there's a
Straight.
culture of people being scared to do that. People who the whole technology has
Yeah,
made
because
people
no one, because
lazy
everybody's afraid
not
to
to do that.
fail and to be
Yes, that's
embarrassed
another
and
thing. Cause
perfectionist.
I mean, like, cause also not for nothing. When artists post something, it's different with like, let's say the '90s. You post to an open mic, you saying they're like, "Wow, that kind of sucked." Maybe you get one clap. That embarrassment was just for that day.
Yeah,
Nobody's recorded it. Maybe if you work at the
yeah.
same job, they giggling. But on socials, you post something. Sometimes that's forever, and sometimes people be like,
It is.
"Wow, you hit that wrong note," and I'm gonna forever remember that. That's crazy. They sharing it, and now instead of it being the 10 people at the open mic, it is now 20 million people who found you because you went
Yep.
viral. So I
Hmm.
100% understand, but it's kind of like my thing is if you really want to make it, however you define making it, because everybody has different
Yeah,
success, you
yes.
have to be open to the fact if 20 million people were to see you perform and it sucked, are you going to be okay? because there's a lot of our favorite performers have ugly photos, they have ugly moments, they have times where they're like, wow, I
Yeah.
can't believe I did that. And you have to be able to laugh that off. You have to be able to shrug that off. Or even if you're a little bit upset, you have to be able to swallow that and keep
Okay.
moving because you have other things to do.
I
A
like
lot
to
of
give
artists can't do it.
I like to give another good example, right? You know, an artist who's hungry, right? And they whatever, and they want to perform, right? Right? Okay, so you should be able to perform anytime, right? Almost, right?
If they're hungry, yeah,
If
that's
you're hungry,
if they're
right?
Mhm.
saying that.
So now
Most of them are not
good
saying
test to
that.
me is the good test to me is now, say for instance, like, yo, you're with whoever, and yo, it's 20,000 right now. Here's the mic. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
think
Like, you get what I
I don't
mean?
think those
Like,
type of people are gonna
no,
put
that
them.
kind of pressure.
They're not gonna put
The,
themselves in that
no, I'm.
situation.
What do you mean? No,
That's another thing too. Some
I'm just
people,
saying. I'm just saying.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying when the time comes, or the moment that, like in certain, when that one moment comes, you know what I mean? Are you going to take it? You know
it's
what I mean?
also like you have to consider there's a lot of people who aren't waiting on their butt for a moment. Hence why I like the people who are like, oh no, I'm not gonna wait for anybody to give me the spotlight or the shine. I'm just gonna figure it out and how to make my R&B and keep it quiet. There's some people who were like, I was at Rock Nation's door every day trying to show my stuff. And there was other people who was just like, yeah, I mean, if they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. And they still here, they still rocking. They was never really begging for it. Like I don't mind artist showcase. I don't mind any of that because
Yeah.
I still respect the people who don't do that and they still able to pay their bills with their music. They still able to do their thing. Because like I said, everybody has their
You know
own
what?
thing. There are some people who have not had to use that elevator pitch because they said, I don't want to be in rooms where I have to prove what I'm worth. I would just rather let my quality speak for itself. I don't need you to be like, hey, yo, here's 20,000. You're going to come. I'm going to come with the 20,000 to the table. And I'm going to be like, look, here's 5K. You push this song. Here's 4K if you do that and that. I already got the numbers. You tell me what you're trying to do. That's the type of artist we're messing with now because of social media. It's less of
Yeah.
people waiting on somebody's doorstep. Like, can you please help me achieve my dream? No, there are people who are literally having 2 million, 3 million streams without ever performing at a show. And it's
True,
mind
true.
blowing to me.
You
They're
know what?
like,
It's true.
mm,
It's
That's
facts
sad.
because you know what?
Mm.
Down in Toronto, there's a lot of the big artists who have all these high streams,
Yeah,
and most of them I never seen them perform
that's right.
yeah,
ever.
That's right.
yep. Never, not
Exactly.
once, not once, not once. And you could tell sometimes when they hit the stage, you're like, you've never
If they even hit
performed
it,
this,
if
have
they
you?
even if they even hit a stage,
Yes, that's the other thing too. Because for example, literally myself is full proof. Everybody's like, "Yo, Bree, you got 1 million streams on the song." I'm like, "Yeah, girl. Like when you doing a tour?" I said, "The tour. Y'all barely want to pop out for a little open mic. What are you talking about? We're gonna wait. we're
Mhm.
gonna wait a little bit till you're ready to pull up because the
yeah,
content is there, the quality's
yeah,
there. We're gonna wait, and that's a
yeah.
lot of people too. They have the technique, they have consistency. It's that they don't necessarily have the loyalty of their fan base yet to fill out a room.
It's
Because
true.
some
Mhm.
people are like, you have all these big numbers. That does not mean anything. Numbers do not mean
Mm.
anything when they cannot roll over into real life.
And you
When
know where
somebody
that
asks
comes?
you for a venue, you know?
Remember what you're saying, connecting with people, connecting every day,
Yes.
coming on
Yeah,
TikToks and all that.
that's right.
That's what makes all those people come out to
When you're
see you.
Yes.
Because
connecting
it's
with
not
your
just your
fans.
music, it's how you touch with the fans, right? They're coming out to see
Mhm.
you. I think that's the missing ingredient.
Yeah. And again, like, and what's crazy is I'm working off of singles, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still
Mm.
trying to build mine. People are like, yeah, can you fill up a venue? I'm like, I don't know. I wanna try to build it up more. Yeah, people have full projects who still can't fill out a venue because they're missing that building. It's almost like they jumped a little bit too quick, and people are
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to make it tomorrow. You're missing so many things that like it becomes where you're setting yourself up to be that one hit wonder. You're setting yourself up for disaster. You dropped the project, it fell on deaf ears. You saying you could fill the venue, but nobody's actually listening to the music. So then where do we go from here? If nobody's really sharing the music, they're only, or better yet, they have the people who are like, yeah, I got my fans, but it's really your family and your friends who only pop out to that one gig. That don't
Yeah.
count. That's not the
No.
people who are gonna buy your merch and run it up for
Yeah.
like $50 and have no issues. Like everything is so, and it's crazy because again, everybody's path is different. There is somebody who could really have one single and is filling out venue to venue to venue to venue. That's good for them. And there's other people where they struggling just off of a project, but mind you have the discography. So it's really trying to find your connection and where those people are. I have
Yeah.
two people that I know. One's a group, nobody knows them in Brooklyn, but in the Philippines they are famous. Like they were able to do a full on tour, paid hotel, everything. And I'm like, wow, I've never heard of you guys until I saw you doing like an opener at this one gig. So that's crazy. And another dude
Yeah.
too, he's like, yeah, no, I toured all around the UK. And I'm like, nobody knows you in the US. He's like, no. So you truly
You could
never
be big.
even know.
Yeah, you could be big anywhere else. That's what the whole key is, marketing.
It's not
Your
where you are,
market,
it's where you
sometimes
at.
your market is not where you are,
It's where
right?
you at.
Yes.
It's where you go to, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like for example, Toronto. I'll bring it back to our place. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them. Okay, Drake's big. You heard of Drake, Weekend, and
Yes.
all these other guys. So a lot of people want to be in the American market, but a lot. This is what's going on down here. A lot of these ones coming up don't network with anybody down there. They're networking. They're staying in the hometown. They're so I want to be gangster in the hometown and think I'm gonna go
Yeah.
anywhere.
You
You
know.
can't do. You got to network with people from England, America, and that's how you're gonna get there. But there's an attitude of, oh, we don't need to. We got Drake now. Let's just sit back and drink coffee.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people who, when they get like a crumb, they think that it's, or better yet, there's too many people who, when they see that, like they finally reach that goal. Like again, I have a million streams, and people was like, "Oh, like you're not acting uppity." I said, "You understand that these numbers mean nothing, right?" I'm like I'm still going to treat everybody like a human being in the
See, at
same
least, but
way
at
somebody
least there's
else should.
at least there's not that spoilness, Rod. You agree with me now? I think people think because Drake is so big now, they're in this new I don't know what to call it. That hey, we don't have to work hard anymore, Rock.
Yeah, no, that's
We don't
weird.
need to
No,
work. Drake done brought us to the promised land.
Yeah, but
yeah,
No, that's how a lot of them
but
are
they're not at
thinking.
Drake
No, but they
status.
are thinking like that now because they see some other guys follow Pressa and so now they feel all we have to do is stay here. We don't need to network with nobody.
it's weird because also I understand though when people are like, let's let it be organic. Because a lot of the pandemic, like early in the pandemic, was
Yeah.
me organically connecting with people because of the whole IG live crowds and like
Mm.
finding y'all podcasts and like
Yeah.
everybody else's and being like, oh wow, this seems kind of cool. It organically happened. There's a lot
True.
of people I believe who are doing music who have really terrible social anxiety and who actually don't want to call it
Yes.
anxiety and are doing a crap ton of drugs to make it seem like they're okay, but they're really not. They're actually super duper
Just
anxious.
open
So
up.
and so instead of them actually admitting they have social anxiety, they're like, nah, man, I don't need anybody. I think I made it. When really they're just so scared to work with other
Mm.
people because they're scared of rejection. Which I understand completely. I 100% get it. They don't want to show up to those meet and greets. I don't either because sometimes they're corny. You're expecting me to like you within 3 minutes. That's not the way that life goes.
But hey,
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
you
my
know,
experience, she's opened up a can of
Wow.
worms. My experience, I have experienced a lot of certain artists like that, right? I seen them too. They're still around. I seen them on social. It's what you explained. They want to be doing this art, but they really are not socially with it. I
yes.
see it a lot. I'll admit, there's a percentage now doing what we
Hmm.
do. There's a lot of them like that.
They have to you but that's why I'm saying you have to find what works for you. I remember one mentor, she actually is like a part of like the recording academy. She gets to cast her vote. And one of her big advice to me was work with people that you like. You don't have to work with anybody you don't like. But what you need to do is figure out if you like them, which means you need to talk to them.
So if you
Which
don't like
is
anybody,
yeah, if you don't like anybody, then you leave it at that and you
Right.
figure out who you like. It because even if, for example, I value producers more than I will value artists because sometimes artists can be really weird and moody versus producers, the chillest people I've met in all of the planet. The world could be crumbling. The producer's like, yeah, so you're gonna go back in the booth? All right, okay, it's fine. Like everything is relaxed while the earth is burning. But that's
yeah,
just me. I figured out my
Right.
niche. I figured out people. I figured out the personalities that I click with and I like the best and that I can actually grow with and work with. Some people are still figuring that out. And because of social media, it makes it where you can isolate yourself in your craft where you feel like you don't need community. But you do need community and true community too. Because there's a lot of people who will come up and be like, I have all these fake people around me. That would also give me anxiety too. That would make me feel like I don't want to talk to anybody. Because if I
Mm.
feel like when I didn't really have anything, you was betraying me already. You said you was giving me a beat, you never gave me the beat. You was cheating me out of studio time. You was taking all my money because you was a promoter. I would also have trust issues and not want to talk to
Mm.
anybody. And would feel like I don't have to do any more work because I could do it by myself, which is not true. Our
Yeah.
favorite music industry professionals all have a community. They have somebody that they could text. Like they have 5 producers on their line. Like, hey, yo, do you need something from me? Like, I'll hop in. What you need me to do? They have engineers. They have marketers. They have PR. They have so many people ready to ride for them. And there's a lot of people because of anxiety, them letting the fear of rejection, of failure, of looking stupid, looking dumb, having people betray them, is getting to them to the point where they're not doing anything. But they're like, I'm doing fine because I can make it on my own. When you just made it 10 times harder for yourself. Like versus you just reaching out to folks and just saying
Yeah.
like, hey, can you help me? Would you want to collaborate? Would you want to do something? It doesn't even take a different personality. It just takes you, like I said way earlier, humbling yourself. Humble yourself. It's okay for you to be vulnerable and be like, yo, bro, I don't really know what I'm doing with any of this stuff. You think you could show me a thing or two? You think you could have me on
Yeah.
your show? Do you think that we can work on something together?
Yeah.
It takes 2 seconds, but you just actually have to push yourself to do it. And there's a lot of people who are scared of that, you know?
Mm. I'm gonna say thank you, Brianna Knight, for coming
Yeah,
through.
it's been an
This was
interesting
great. I love
conversation.
it. I
A
love
lot
it.
of information
A lot of
and all of
info.
that
I know a lot
info.
of people are gonna take this in. We had fun still, but a lot of people are
Definitely.
gonna take this in because it's the experience you got. You got the experience. You dropped a lot of gems. I hope to hear some great art, some more music
Well,
from
we're
you.
gonna be
You
staying
feel
in
me?
touch regardless.
Keep
You know
in
what I'm
touch
saying?
and
Anything
everything.
new coming out, you know what I mean? Stay in touch, send it to us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whatever,
Send the
we'll be
links.
sharing it and all of that. You know what I
I can
mean?
tell that
Straight.
you're a great artist, always working, true
Thank
artist,
you.
definition of an artist,
But
educated.
before we go, remind the people what are your digital platforms. You know what I mean?
All your
Just
Yes,
plat.
yes, 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 yes. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Poet Dreaming. There's no numbers, no underscores, just Poet Dreaming. And if you're like, I want to hear your songs, you could go on all DSPs. You could go through Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Bandcamp if you're trying to throw me $1,
Yeah, yeah.
Audio Mac, SoundCloud, Brianna Knight, BriannaKnight. You can also see my name right there. Search me up. My song from last year, So Deep, we're at 1,300,000
That's
streams. Run
good.
it up. Dropped a song yesterday called Bad Decisions. Get into it. Neo Soul and R&B is back. It's been back. It's well and alive. And if you're looking for it, it's over here. Just search your girl up.
you
It's real.
Good
done
stuff.
know you
Good stuff.
heard it
Thank you.
first
Thank
from
you.
Down to
It's an
Earth
honor.
podcast here.
Honor.
But
Brianna
before
Knight.
we go, I always have to say this though, Shawn. You know, this is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I approve this message nationwide. Pop, 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 pop.
Thank you
You
for coming
done know.
through,
Thank you for coming
Brianna.
through. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure,
Right.
definitely. And we salute you.
Down
You
to
know what I
earth.
mean? Down to Earth podcast.
Respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, y'all. Catch y'all later.